Hello and welcome back. Just a little bit of an update today. We've got the Kobo with those wagons and cable drums there. We'll just get that underway. We'll see if we can get that running nice and steadily around. Just giving it a bit of a clean. Has been sitting in the engine shed for a little while. Let's see if we can get that to run around. You can see I've got the station buildings on there. We'll have a quick look at those. Now those chimneys on there, they're 3D printed ones that I did some time ago, much lighter plastic. I think I'll get around to printing some others. Those are original chimneys. And we'll have a bit more of a look at that in a moment. Let's see if we can catch up with the Kobo. All of the sidewalls I've got in here now. So that's all looking a lot smarter, although I haven't got the tops on the girder bridges yet. I don't know why I keep forgetting to put those in. So I've got the Kobo rumbling around in the background. Let's see if we can catch up with that. There it is, rumbling down the back of the station. And off she goes. And then under the station again. So also got some track up as well. I think I mentioned some time ago that this spur that comes in here and is going to go down the side of the other Hornby Dublo, not Hornby Dublo, Triang railway station through here. I was unhappy with this piece that I've made. We'll have a look at that once I've got that out in the last sort of 24 hours, and we'll sort of look what we're going to do with that. It was a bit bumpier than I wanted it to be. Now I have got a mail bag set up here, and I've got the Duchess and a small mail train here, so we'll just get that underway. Kobo seems to be behaving itself, so let this build up a little bit of power and momentum, and we'll see if we can pick up the mail bag next time around. So it seems to have been raining for the last 3 days here, so really terrible weather this week. So I think we're second to last week in July at the moment. There we go, under the station. Slowed down a little bit under there. Let me see if I can get down here and we'll get the button ready and see if we can collect that mail. Button pressed in. So that's got the mail bag. Ideally we'll collect that on the way around. Sorry, drop it off on the way around. We've just collected it, haven't we? Off it goes. I can hear the Kobo coming in from behind me here. Nicely behaved. So I'm going to get ready here. Oops, backing into the layout here. So the button to energize this is down here. That's the one I forgot in the past. So let's give this a little bit of power. Let's see if we can drop off that mail bag. There we go. One mail bag delivered. And there comes the Kobo. I wonder if it's going to catch up with the Duchess. Could be. So let's let it go around just a little bit more. Off into the distance. There we have it. Really lovely sound as these things rumble around the railway. Whoops. It's nearly catching it up, isn't it? What do we reckon? Once more round and it'll get it? Yeah, there's a bit of wheel slip on that Duchess in the curves. It's got very, very shiny wheels. So I have taken one coach off the train because the wheel slip was getting quite significant. I've added a little bit of weight as well. Here they come. The Kobo's overtaken the Duchess, but that might all change as we come down the straight. That looks pretty good. So all good fun. Whoops. Yeah, I think I'm going to get a little bit of control over the Duchess now. Let's grab the controls. So here we go. Let's put a bit more power into that Duchess as it comes down the straight. Don't want to go too mad with it. Well, I think we're going to have to bring this lot to a stop now. So we'll start by bringing the Duchess into a stop just along underneath the window here. And then we'll get the Kobo next time around. Whoops. Tripped myself over the cable there. Traction tyres on that, of course. Makes a completely different sound on the rails. But I have noticed that Duchess does generate quite a lot of wheel slip. The green Duchess of Montrose, doesn't seem to slip quite as much. So let's see if we can gently take the power out of that now. There we go. So let's just have a look what we're doing with the rails here. We'll just move the controls out of the way so we don't trip over them. So I think I mentioned in the past that I was unhappy with a bit of rail in this line which runs down past the station. So I've got that one out. That's a piece I had made in the past to fit into a gap. And it was always a bit of a compromise piece. I made it from a fairly bent piece of track in the first place. You can see it's got a bit of a twist in it. So what I'm going to do is I've selected, instead of making a short piece in there, I'm going to make a longer piece shorter, which will probably be a more successful job, I think. That'll smooth that out a bit down there. So those are the three rails I've been considering, but I'm thinking this one is probably the nicer one. And also one of those is one of those dreadful ones with the cardboard. There we go. So that isn't the one I removed from the other side of the track, so I don't really want that to find its way in. Let's pop that down there. So ideally by next week I'll have that sorted out. If you have a look in the insert pictures there, you can see how I've been cutting the rails to fit in there. So I think it's quite effective. So you end up with the tabs at sort of both ends rather than just sort of cutting down the rails and then sort of lashing it together. So you end up with the connection tab for the centre rail. It's quite effective. I've got it in a number of places. Let's just pan around the railway here for the ones I can remember where they are. And again, if you have a look at the insert picture there, you can see that these two rails here that run parallel to each other have been shortened. Can't remember how much by. A few centimetres. You couldn't fit a hole straight in there. And I think possibly there's another one running around here somewhere. Definitely one up here. There. There's one that's a cut length that's in there. So there's a whole number of them. Most of them have been very successful, but that one has just annoyed me from the moment it went in, really. And there are a couple in here as well. Some underneath there, but I can't see those. So these canopies, these buildings are ones these are market stall purchases. Let's just grab this one. You can see that's got added matchsticks for strength there. So these were bought as is, and they were missing the far sides, and they're 3D printed. I'm going to either paint those or print some darker ones. So I'll get quite a nice clearance. Sorry, I'm pointing the camera in the wrong place. Quite a nice clearance there for that. But if we put there's another one we prepared earlier, as they say, on that well-known TV program, children's TV program. So that hangs a little bit low, And I think the idea of those is they go off the back, and you've got station steps down the back of the platform, which is how I had them set up on this side, I think. So we shall see. But maybe I can get around to 3D printing one with an angle and just angle that up, which will solve the difference. That canopy there, we might as well have another look at that. That's one that came in a bunch of things, which is, am I going to be able to get that one out? They never come out when you want them to come out, but somebody's gone to the trouble of painting that one quite extensively. I have tried my favourite nail varnish remover and so on to get that off, and it makes no dent in it whatsoever, so that one's staying grey unless I paint it yellow, I suppose. But I thought that was all looking fairly smart with the full set of sidewalls in. So let's see if we can get something on the Triang Railway to run. Let's put the controls for that one down for now. And we'll pick up this. Now I think, let me just look at the controls, we should have the EMU already fractioned in the station there. So let's take that up to the other station. He says. So I haven't switched it on, have I? Let's pan back around here. Yeah, I'm not on the handheld. There we go. Let's have another go now. So hopefully as we get things a bit more tidy and a bit more sorted, we might be able to sort of dig out some more sort of interesting models and look at some other variations. Sorry, I'm just dancing around the cables here. There we go. But while we're sort of, actually, we're just going to stop that there and look at something else I've done this week as well. So I'll put an insert picture of the other supports that are in there. So when I originally put these in, these had a piece there, which initially I thought worked quite well, but as I came down here, I decided it didn't need it, and it was just additional plastic that I didn't need to print. So I had two supports, possibly three. I think is there three or two? Two I've replaced in here. So this one. So that's a new one in there. That was a great big wide support going right over this rail here, and this one here is obviously still a wide one, but I'll just change the design of it. So there, they all sort of match now. Right, let's grab the controls again. So this is just really a bit of a catch up on what I've been up to during the week, and the new PLA arrived, and I did go ahead and print the remaining piers that I needed for this side. So let's take that down there. So let's just have a quick look from above there, or from the side anyway. Let's see if we can grab some focus. So it's going to be very, very close with those canopies. So I think possibly a 3D printing project to make something to go in there for the canopies on that side, perhaps. Or maybe I just don't need them. But I quite like them on the front there. So let's bring that around. And then we'll just bring that to a gentle stop before we short it out. About there. I keep standing on the cable. Right, so we'll switch the point so we can bring that back into the station. So we make those curved. And we turn the switch the other way. Let's come down a little. I'm reaching across to the controls and leaning out with the camera the other direction. So it's making my arm wobble a little. There. So that's the clearance we have with those. Let me just take one of those off. And we'll put one of these on the other way around so we can see it. So that's as is. So they don't sort of sit up, and that's sitting in at the right angle. We can get focus in there. Let's have a look at that one. So that just pokes straight in and sits at that angle. You can see the angle of the edge of the canopy there sits flush against there. So that is the angle, but it doesn't seem to create a decent clearance. So that's what we're up against there. But I think maybe I just don't need them. But when I get some time for 3D printing, or drawing rather than the 3D printing, it's not the 3D printing that takes the time, it's the drawing the part. So maybe I'll make a canopy which just angles up a little bit, and we could put some on the other side. Actually, we could make some spares for the fronts as well, because I've got a few missing. So I think that might be quite good. So let's bring that EMU down again. So let's drop that back onto level ground. Yeah, I think we will strive to get some colour light signals up there as well. I'm thinking maybe we'll have them one just before the rail break and one at the end of the station, perhaps. Just for a bit of fun. Added interest when the points switch. I've got a derailment there. Let's have a look at this. Let's see what's gone on there. So we've got the front part of this coach has come away. Let's pop that back on. Yeah, maybe these couplings have ridden over each other. Let's back that up and see if we can have another go at that. So, also the tunnel, I think maybe short-lived now, because if I start playing with stations down here, that tunnel, that's the last place the tunnel currently fits on the railway. So it would have fitted quite nicely, or maybe it fits in here. I don't know, I've only just thought of this. Maybe it'll go in that gap just there. So when I've got two hands free, I might try that in there. Now let's see if this EMU comes back down. I'm not sure where it derailed. I think if it had derailed earlier, I would have heard it. So let's bring that down again. Yeah, it's come off there. So something's going on when it's coming around this corner. Let's have a look at that. Let's back that up again. There's always something. There. It's not in the corner, it's on this straight here. So let's have another go there. It's there. Something it doesn't like here. So something's shifted here, because we were having no problems with that before. Let's try that again. Yeah, a problem for another day, I think. So I'll look into that over the week. I'm sure we can solve that. So let's take that back around to the station. Actually, I'm just going to... No, we will. We'll just take it back round to the station, and I won't get bogged down in that now. We'll see if I can solve that during the week. Yeah, so the tunnel possibly could go in there. Let's pop that into the station. There we go. So let's put the controls down, and then I think what we'll do, we'll get the Princess up and running. I'm going to isolate that, and let's see if we can get the Princess. Actually, I don't need to isolate that. Sorry, I'm thinking on the move here. So it's already two railways, so I can just get the Princess up and running. So there should be no hazards on the line. Wrong controller. There we go. And we'll just finish off with a couple goes round with the Princess. Terrific looking model. And I've got a problem there as well. This isn't going very well at all. So let's get the Princess back on the rails. There we go. I think I know what I've done. So let's come back around here. And I think these points were left open. Let's try that again. So we'll give some power to the Princess. So it was along here somewhere, wasn't it? I think I'd left those points open. Yeah, I think that's all that was. Again, absent-mindedness, you're getting these things set up. Let's see if we can come down here and get the Princess coming out of the tunnel. Absolutely stunning model, this. I know I keep saying that, but I think it really is quite something. So let's get a bit of control over that. There we go. I think what we'll do is we will just for fun, we'll isolate this this EMU, and we'll see if we can route the Princess and take it up onto the elevated section. I'm being over ambitious here because I haven't planned this, so we'll make that one straight. No, not that one straight. Excuse me while I think about it. It's this pink one here. That pink one. So let's make that one curved. And then we want the one with the green dot over here. Curved. And then we should be able to bring that around. We'll make that one straight. But we'll also make it one railway, and we'll control from this side only. That should work. So if I've done everything correctly now, the Princess will just move away and everything else stays still. There we go. Now we're just going to run it through those points there. And then we're going to shift those. Let's put that down. And we'll daringly try reversing that up the elevated section. So we want to make this one curved. So let's see what we can do with that. So we'll make that one go backwards. And we'll see if we can back this up now. Let's keep an eye out for derailments here. Well, we were getting a little bit of wheel slip on this before, weren't we? If I just stop that now, and we'll see if we get some wheel slip moving off. Ooh, a little bit quicker than I want. So let's run that in there. My battery's running low. We might have to brake. So we've got to throw the points. Hang on a second. So we've got to switch these ones. We've got to make this straight. Seems we're coming round the other way. Remember to turn the switch in the correct direction and everything. Yeah, so I've been quite impressed. I thought these locomotives without magnesium would have really struggled on here. Certainly some of the ones I tested earlier when I was putting the section up really didn't like it. Now this one does tend to pick up a bit of speed when going forwards down there, so I've backed right off. And as the weight of the coaches gets on it, there we go, it sort of drags it away, so I'll slow that down. And we'll just back that out of there. So we've had no derailments. I wonder whether it's something peculiar going on with that particular coach on the EMU, although we have been sailing that up and down there over the last week or so without too many problems. So let's pop that there, and we will just bring that forward. We'll close that one, and we'll just bring it up there alongside the track work. So we'll just close that. There we go. And we'll bring that forward. I think we'll call it a day. But thanks again for watching. I know there's nothing sort of dramatically new here, just a little bit of an update on what's going on. But if you look back again next time, we'll see if we can have something else to look at on the railway. Goodbye now. I just thought we'd have a quick look at this. That EMU was annoying me, that it was derailing there, so I've had a fiddle with it. It didn't turn out to be what I thought it was, but it works now, and I thought I'd put that tunnel in. We'd have a quick look at that as soon as we mentioned it. Not too bad there. So we'll just run this through. So there, let's just run that back down again. And I'm not going to run it right up the elevated section back round again, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that centre coach round, because what it turned out to be when I started fiddling with it, let's see if we can get that that coach off there while we're talking. So let's see if we can try and I've got to look what I'm doing rather than at the camera. So let's just take note which way round that is. So that end was the end which was jumping off. So it would come down there. It would come down. Well, it was going up, no problem either direction really. But when it came down the other way around, it just jumped the rails, and it was jumping in this area here, which led me to change this piece of track. And strangely, that had more of a bend in it than I had thought. So that was, but that wasn't it, because it still leapt off the rails, changed the curve as well. So all of that fresh into there, and still getting the same result, only in that direction downwards. So let's just take that up there now. And we won't bore you with going all the way up. But yeah, that's working quite nicely. So fresh bits of track in there. Well, as fresh as sort of 60-year-old track can be. Let's whip this coach off again. Whoops. Let's see if we can whip that out of there. Not the best place to do that on the points, I suppose. And let's get that there. So hopefully I'm not getting too close. I think, is it 28 centimetres is the closest I can get with this this camera. So it was, when the coach comes down, let's see if we can go into some light here. There, when the coach comes down, it's tipping down onto that bogie there, and it was making contact with the bodywork at that point there, and it was lifting it off the rail. Now, all of these other coaches, similar bogies, similar design, didn't do that, and these Suburbans didn't do it, and I got some out of the box. They didn't do it because I've got some with the ribbed roofs on as well and seating. None of them did it. So what I've ended up doing, let's see if we can come in here. If we can't see this, I'll get a drop-in picture. So that part of the bogie at the very end there, on the end, I've just shaved some off there with a needle file, and taken the plastic off, so it allows the bogie, the bodywork to pivot as it comes down the slope, so it doesn't pull itself off the rails. So you can probably better see that here. See if we can get some focus on this one. There, so see those two sort of lumps sticking out either side of where the rivet goes in. So I've just taken those down by 1 millimetre with a file, and it solved the problem. So none of the other coaches were doing this. That's the first thing I've really come across that's leapt off the rails. Early on when the elevated section came in, I did have some trouble with some of the blood and custards, and they didn't like this. This is where the height change of direction. I just took some off the rails there, and that solved the problem. It wasn't the bogies, it was the rails in this instance. So solved. So that was really annoying me. So that's eaten up another sort of definitely wasn't minutes. So anyway, I had hoped to get on with cutting that piece of track this afternoon, but I didn't. So I'm not sure about that. I think it sort of looks quite nice there, but you lose the effect of it coming through the tunnel. But it is quite a lovely thing. And I'm thinking I think I mentioned earlier, I'm going to get the windmill and some of those other rubber buildings in the corner there. But I think that probably really is it this time. But thank you again for watching, and do look back next time. Goodbye now.